Apart from and below the regulative principle, one of the most important concepts in conducting a worship service is the concept of undistracting excellence. This is a term that I believe was invented by John Piper. It certainly was popularized by him and championed by Bob Kauflin in his ministry, Worship Matters. It has application in all aspects of the service, including preaching, reading the Bible, performing the ordinances, taking the offering, and everything else. I want to touch on it today briefly in how we present the music and how we present the slideshow. In terms of the sung praises, it has many applications as well. It has to do with the music we've chosen, the way it's presented on instruments, the way the sound system works, and all other aspects concerned with that. What I want to touch on today, though, is timing. One of the key aspects to being able to sing with confidence and without distraction is knowing when to sing. Many different elements go into making sure that this happens well. The first would be that the singers who are leading the congregation have to be confident to introduce all of the new parts of the song, especially after the introduction. They can't limp in on that first verse. They have to know when the choruses come and hit them with confidence, so that when the congregation hits those notes, they don't suddenly feel like they've made a mistake and drop out. For the singers to be able to do this, of course, they have to know the songs well, they have to be paying attention and be rehearsed, but they have to be led by the band itself. Very often, the musicians playing in the church service are not used to playing in a band. They're not used to a live situation and haven't been trained necessarily as performing musicians. This is not necessarily a problem, and I certainly don't advocate for hiring professional musicians. But one thing they lack often is an awareness of how to signal that new portions of the song are coming. It's very difficult to play with a group that isn't able to show you when 4 bars are up, when 8 bars are up, when a chorus is coming, or when we're coming out of a break. There's so many things that you need to be able to do there. One way to do it is to alter your dynamics a little bit. Another is to put in a rhythmic fill. Something very simple is to treat your accents properly. Beat 3 shouldn't feel like beat 4. A bar shouldn't feel like 4 indiscriminate beats that you can't tell apart. You want to be able to hear what's happening in a bar. Very often that's done by setting up a little bit of a pulse. If the bass player is playing on the 1 and then the and 3 and 4, you never have to count that bar. Boom, 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 boom. You always know where you are. You can always sense the next bar, even if you've lost count or been distracted by the vocals. The band leader needs to be able to take care of this. First thing is they have to know that it's an issue. They have to learn how to pay attention to marking these parts and especially to cueing the singers about when to come in on every verse. It's their job to make sure the singers know how to do this confidently so that the singers can help the congregation do it confidently and not end up trailing off and wondering what they're doing. One other aspect of this that's always going to be an issue in a modern church is the way the slides are presented. It seems very difficult for people advancing those slides to understand when they should switch the slides. You can't wait until we're about to enunciate that first word of the next slide before you show it to us. You can't even do it when we're on the last syllable of the previous slide. If you know how to read a book, you'll notice that you'll be turning your page long before you're finished that last sentence. You already have started to ingest it, even though you're not yet saying those words in your head. You can see them all, you know what they are, you start turning the page, and by the time you're ready to think the next word, that page has been turned for some time already. As somebody advancing slides, you need to be able to do that as well. You have to be reading those slides yourself and singing along, and knowing when you're finished looking at the last word and when you want to start understanding the next one. That's not 1 syllable or 1 word before the turn, but it's probably about 3 or 4 syllables before. You can just hear the lack of surety in a congregation when they're finishing a line and don't know what to sing next. And they're looking at the slides, waiting and hoping that they'll turn fast enough, and then trying to digest that first word soon enough to say it. If you're not reading the words and advancing them when you feel like they should be done, then you're not going to be able to help the congregation to be able to see them when they feel like they should be done. If you're just looking at them and listening to the music and trying to time your beats with the music, you're going to be way off. You have to be on that next slide several beats before we're ready to sing it. In fact, this goes for Bible readings as well. When you're following along, reading along with the pastor, you're finished looking at that slide about 3 or 4 words before they're spoken, and you want to be preparing and seeing what's next. You don't want to be looking at the bottom of a slide, "For God so loved the world," and try to digest that next word in time. You need to be able to glance through it. If you were reading, for instance, what I just said, "For God so loved the world," By the time you've read the word for, if world's on the next slide, you want to be seeing it. For God so loved the is already in your head, and you're already prepared to say it. There are many, many more places where this concept is applicable, but this is the first one I wanted to touch on today. Thanks for listening. God bless.